everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. Today I'm going to film a little refresh for my project pan. In the beginning of the year I was doing this rolling project pan where I threw all of those products that didn't fit into the other projects. So I was doing pan that palette. Now I don't pan any eyeshadows and I don't want to pan any eyeshadows for a while, and I did talk about this in my pan that palette finale video. But then I am still doing my pan that face palette, and in that project I'm also panning some other cheek products. Then also I'm doing my lip product project where I track progress and use it seasonally. Those are the projects that I either was or am still doing. And then there's a lot of products that don't fit into those projects. So complexion makeup, for example, perfume, skincare. So it was a lot of random little things, and I didn't have any set number of products that I would pan. So I typically had quite a few products, way over 10, probably 15 or sometimes even closer to 20 products that I was working on at once. I feel that didn't really work for me super well because the updates would always end up being super long. So I didn't often feel like filming an update because I knew it's going to take such a long time. I found some of the products a little bit boring to talk about. And overall I just felt that I was doing the project for kind of like wrong reasons. As somebody who has been doing YouTube videos about project panning for a long time, I sometimes fall into the trap of doing project pan just for the sake of doing the content, not because I actually want to achieve something with it. It comes this kind of like performance where I'm maybe creating heavier makeup looks what I would like to. For example, now in summer I have taken a step back from project panning. Most of the days I don't even wear makeup. It's really hot and I am home studying the entire day, so it just doesn't really make sense for me to apply makeup. Nobody's going to see me except the people at the daycare when I take my kids there and when I get them back. So I have not filmed an update to my project pan in a couple of months, and the last two updates were actually both a couple of weeks late, I think. So then I was kind of thinking that I'm just going to quietly quit the project. However, recently I have again found this motivation and inspiration to go more minimal with my collection again. Till last summer I had this really minimal approach to beauty products and makeup with my mindset, but then something happened, and this is actually something that I'm going more in detail why I think my shopping got a little bit out of control again in my no buy intro video, so I can link that down below. But since starting my no buy I have been kind of reflecting back, thinking what I really want from my makeup collection, from stuff in general, and I just do notice that the more stuff I have, the more it feels like a burden than something that brings me joy. If I have too many options, I get overwhelmed. If I have too much stuff, for me it doesn't look beautiful, it more looks like visual clutter. So recently I have again had this feeling that I want to go more towards a minimalist-ish collection. I will never be like a true minimalist with makeup, so somebody who would only have like a small makeup bag and those really essential products to create an easy and natural everyday look. That's what I think about when I think about a makeup minimalist. That is not me, and even my makeup style is to wear a little bit more than that. I don't like too heavy looks, but I do like to look made up, and for me makeup is a way to do that. Also for me makeup is a way to express myself, for example through different seasons. I like to change colors a little bit and so on. But I just noticed that even now I do have a little bit too much options, and I do want to go a little bit more minimal with my collection. I think I'm going to film a video at some point of my dream minimalist-ish makeup collection. And while I do totally need to do a declutter, because there are some products in my collection that I don't really even like them enough to use them, I totally do want to use project panning as a tool to get towards that dream smaller collection, because most of my products, even if they're not absolutely favorites, I can still use them up. One aspect how I'm going to try to practice more minimalist mindset is to put less products into the project. In the beginning of the year, it felt like a huge task to film the videos because the videos would end up being so long because there were so many products to talk about. So this time I have decided to limit the number of products in the project at once to 10 products. I'm just going to pick 10 that I feel right now that I do want to pan. They can be kind of like quick wins. So for example, my perfume sample collection is something I do want to downsize, and using up one perfume sample when we're talking about really small 2 ml samples, that's not going to take too many days to finish. Or then maybe I just want to put into this project a product that it might take a little bit more effort for me to use it. For example, I'm going to put a powder like that into the project right now, and I will explain why it's a little bit more difficult once we are at that point of the video. But just products that right now I feel I want to use, I want to get out of my collection, and I will try to, when I'm now doing this project, keep on my mind the goal of downsizing my collection. And one more thing I will say before we get into talking about the products is that I'm not going to set any timeline when I'm going to film the updates. If I'm really successful, the update might come after just a couple of weeks if there's a lot of really easy products. But then there might be a while when I'm not finishing any products, or maybe I just don't feel like filming the update. Maybe I don't have time, maybe I just don't want to do it at that point. So then it might be a little bit longer break. I just want to kind of like go with the flow. So the 10 products that I have decided to pan are all over here in this small basket. And I will say, in the future I will probably put into this project some skincare products. I do have quite a bit of skincare, hair care that I do want to use up. But for right now the focus is really heavily on makeup, on nail polish and on perfume, because these are the categories that I do talk about in my makeup inventory, and right now I just feel motivated to get my numbers down a little bit by the next makeup inventory update. So I am going to roll in a foundation. This one is the W7 HD foundation. Now unfortunately this was lying on its side, so I cannot really show you properly where it goes, but it's starting to be towards the bottom, so I don't think this is going to be difficult to use. Now, my goal would be to always have 2 foundations in my collection. I do want to have a natural, really quick and easy, kind of like fresh looking foundation. Actually, I'm really curious of trying from W7 their Skin Fresh foundation. But then I also want to have a more fuller coverage, long wearing foundation. And my favorite for that is the Catrice HD liquid coverage. And I feel this one kind of falls into the middle. It's not really that full coverage, it's kind of like medium coverage. It wears decently, not as well as the Catrice one though. So I just feel I don't need this sort of foundation in my collection. I'm totally fine with those two, the natural option and then the more full glam option, if you will, even though I tend to wear that also a lot on my everyday basis if I need longevity from my makeup. This foundation I am wearing today, and I'm wearing now the shade Buff. This is a shade that matches me really well now in the summer. In winter I used one bottle. I don't remember the shade however, but it was a lighter shade. Another product I'm going to roll in is the W7 Cover Stick. So this one is a stick concealer, and I bought this one in spring because I was doing my internship and I was working on a computer the whole day. And when I work on a computer I do need to wear glasses, but then I don't need to wear them constantly, and I prefer to take them off when I'm not working. So I do have glasses that have plastic frames. I really do like my glasses. Maybe I'm going to show them to you now that I have them here. So these are my first glasses ever. So I didn't know that plastic frames, they will remove the makeup underneath. I absolutely love this, don't get me wrong. I think they suit me really well. They suit my face shape, they suit my style. But they're just not the most practical when you do wear glasses on and off. If I was wearing them the entire day, it wouldn't necessarily matter if I have huge marks over here. But these do touch the side of my nose and also my cheek and sometimes even my forehead. So I do notice that when I do wear them on and off and when I wear makeup, I need to, if I want to do a proper touch-up, apply some concealer or other like cream or liquid products, because only powder is not going to fix that sort of mess and mark. So that's why I bought this concealer, and I do think as a concealer it's really nice. However, the stick of mine has broken. So yeah, hopefully you can see it better. It looks pretty nasty currently because it is broken, and then I always try to push it back. The good thing about this one is that I can also, because this one has really peachy color similar to under eye correctors. There is the color. So I can totally wear this one as my under eye corrector. I do like to wear under eye corrector and then regular concealer. So I have been actually using this one for that also recently. It is a really creamy formula that gives a little bit moisture. These days I do like the additional moisture on that area. I don't currently do nearly every day the touch up, but at least I do wear under eye corrector every day. And then the last W7 product I'm going to roll in is their Banana Dreams powder, and this one I think I already mentioned earlier in the video that I'm going to roll in a powder that is going to take a little bit effort for me to use. So let me explain. This powder is really yellow. I bought this in spring thinking it would replace the loose powder I was using back then. I noticed that this one is way too yellow for me to use when I'm my palest, especially on my under eye. And even though I do have some tan right now, I still don't wear this on my under eye because I'm just afraid of it being like yellow. But what I do is that I use another powder. I'm using the Revolution translucent baking powder on my under eyes. I do a little bake there, and then I do set the rest of my face with this one. But the thing with this is that a really little bit goes a long way. This one is a really fine and silky powder. Really nice quality, I think. But that makes it go really slowly, so I don't know how long it's going to take for me to finish this. It might take the entire year, and I hope once all of my tan has worn off that I can still set my face with this one, but we will see. I do have currently about half left, so that is where I am. Okay, so those were all of the face products. I'm also going to be rolling in a couple of eye products. So first, an eyebrow pencil. I don't really like eyebrow pencils. This one I got from my sister. I wouldn't have bought it myself. Typically, I do use brown eyeshadow on my brows like I have done today. I just feel with a precise brow brush and eyeshadow I can get the best, more precise and kind of like neat application. And with brow pencils, unless it is one of those skinny ones, the result is just easily going to be messy, and this is no exception. This one is this kind of traditional brow pencil that needs to be sharpened. I'm going to show you a close-up so that you can see where I am at currently. But yeah, this one totally is something that I typically wear only if I'm a little bit more in a hurry. So on those days this can be handy, but then I just have to accept that my brow look is not necessarily going to be perfect. This is something that I do want to use up. I do think, however, it's going to take a little bit longer, but hopefully by the end of the year. And then I'm going to roll in the Milani eyeshadow primer. Now, I probably could go through this otherwise even if I didn't roll it into this project. However, I do have another eyeshadow primer waiting, and this one I have had now for a little bit more what the shelf life is. So this one has 12 months shelf life. I think I have had this 14-15 months, something like that. I was thinking, because I do have another primer also, if I should just toss this and start using the another one, because these days I am quite careful with makeup around my skin, because last year I got a really bad rash using expired eyeshadow, but I have not had any issues with this yet, and it's not like it's way past the expiration date. It's just a little bit, and there's not much left, so I do think that I will be able to finish this one pretty quickly. I just need to remember to use it, even if I skip eyeshadow, use it and then do a little set with powder, so there's not going to be any like foundation or concealer creasing on my lids, which will happen if I don't use eyeshadow primer, because I do have really hooded eyes. 2025 so far has been my worst nail polish year during the past decade. Even during those years when I was pregnant or when I had a newborn, I still did my nails more often than I have done this year. I have just been so busy and so lazy, and I'm kind of starting to be over nail polish. I have really started dreaming about getting my nails done professionally. Once I graduate, once I get a job, I don't bother using my time doing my nail polish, and then even when I do my nails, it's going to be chipped the next day or the day after that. So my goal currently is to pan my entire nail polish collection. This nail polish has been in my project pan for the entire year and it's still not gone. In previous years I would for sure have finished it during the springtime, but no, not this time. That is where I am currently. The bottle was pretty much full when I started the project. I think there's some small leftover from the mark in the intro. This one is the Berry and Molten Metal Nail Paint in the set Pink Ice, if I didn't remember to say it. But this one has not gone thick yet at all, which is a good thing, because typically once my nail polish gets to this point it starts to be thick and annoying. This is not thick yet, but I do notice that I need to be like turning the bottle upside down and all of that when I'm doing my nails with this. So we are getting closer to the end of the nail polish. Now typically these sort of clearly more cool tone shades are something I'm into during winter and springtime, so kind of like the first half of the year, but I just want to get it out. I don't want to let it sit until next winter, because then it's for sure going to get thick, and it's a beautiful color. I am wearing it today, so it is this kind of like rose gold, absolutely stunning. I do love this sort of shimmery, almost metallic finish. Okay, then the rest of the products are Perfume. I'm going to be rolling in one full size that is, well, it's closer to being done at this point. Then I'm going to roll in one like travel size that also is half used up, and then a couple of small samples. So these are not going to be too difficult, but I really want to get the numbers in my perfume collection down, because that has been a huge problem category for me before starting my no buy. So the full size perfume I'm going to be rolling in is the Afnan Kiaana Angel, and I have talked about this before that I don't particularly like this and I should not have bought this. This is a dupe for the Kayali and Pistachio Gelato that I had, but I gave it to my sister because I didn't like it. I give all of my perfumes that I don't like to her, and of course I didn't want to give this to her because I already gave the Kayali one to her. So I just thought that, you know what, let me use it up and let this be a lesson for myself to really think before buying new perfumes. The good thing about this one is because it's got like a calming scent. It's a really cool calming scent that it works great for me as a nighttime perfume. Also, I do like this on really rainy summer days, because this one has almost like that wet and cold feeling that rainy summer days can have. Not necessarily right now. Now if we have rain it's going to be really warm, but in the beginning of the summer when we had rain it was chillier. Anyways, I have been working on this one for the past couple of months and I have made some pretty good progress. So that line over there was in the end of May. That one was in the beginning of July, and now I am down there. So I'm excited that I'm getting closer of this being done. My dream would be to get this one used up in August. That means that I need to add up my usage with this and remember to spray it on every night before going to bed. And then also on those days when it rains, I just think this fits the mood. Then I'm going to roll in the Kayali with Diamond Pink Pepper, or actually, well, this one was in the project also before I put this into the project in the last update in the end of May. And there you can see the progress that I have been able to make ever since, and that is really good because I have not really been that much in a mood for wearing this in the beginning of summer. I gotta force myself to use it a couple of times, wasn't feeling it, and decided that I'm going to get back to it later, closer towards the end of summer, where we are almost right now. And I do think this fits particularly well this season because this is a rose fragrance, which I'm not typically the biggest fan of, but this one is a spicy take on rose, kind of like warm and spicy. It has the pink pepper there, it has amber. Kayali perfumes typically have a lot of notes, but this one totally is kind of like spicy and interesting rose. So I do think it fits this season really well, the end of summer, when it is still summer, but the autumn, it's getting closer and you start to feel it. So yeah, my goal is to get this used up. I think this is something I'm going to prioritize when filming. This one maybe is slightly too heavy for me to wear on my everyday. Okay, then I'm going to be rolling in 2 perfume samples. I have not now counted how many samples I have, but I have too many and I just want to get rid of my entire sample collection. I know there's a few samples, maybe 4 or so, that I just cannot tolerate and I'm not going to wear them, so I will probably end up decluttering them. Then all of the perfumes that are not necessarily favorite but are wearable enough, I'm going to use them up. So here's a couple of them. So I do have here the Souvenir Blooming Bliss from Afnan. I actually had one sample of these that I got as a gift with purchase, but this is one that I bought myself earlier. And by the way, I often get asked where I get my perfume samples. Typically I get them either from Hidden Samples or then from Saud.it, but they have really expensive shipping, so if you order there, maybe look for a full-size perfume at the same time. But yeah, this is the Afnan Souvenir Blooming Bliss. It's really similar to Hadlage Fursan White, which I do have, and which, by the way, is my favorite summer perfume. It's so good. It needs time to macerate though, but the first when I smelled it I did not like it, but the second time I came back to it afterwards, instantly fell in love. But yeah, this one is kind of summery scent. It has some coconut there. I think it has some vanilla there. This one is maybe a little bit more unisex than the Fursan White, so yeah, I do want to use this up and I do like this. I just prefer the Fursan White. And then I do have the Al Haramain Junon Noir. By the way, I will still show you. The Souvenir Blooming Bliss is about halfway gone. I think this is 2.5 ml sample. And then the Junon Noir is almost full. I think I have used it maybe once. So this one is like a floral fragrance with some fruits in it, at least in the opening. I find this is maybe a little bit boring for me. It's just kind of like meh. It doesn't smell bad, but there's nothing in it that really speaks to me. But totally something that I can pretty easily use on my everyday. So these are the perfume samples that I will be rolling in right now. It should be pretty easy finishes. And then in the next update I'm probably going to roll in a couple of more because I need to get my perfume collection down. Okay, but that was everything for today. As I said, I don't have any set timeline for my update, so I'm just going to film an update whenever I feel like it. However, I feel now it might come quite quickly because I know I'm close with the W7 HD foundation and I know that those samples will be easy ones to get out. Also, I am not far off finishing the nail polish, so the update might become in August. It's probably going to become in August, but whether it will be like midway through August or towards the end of the month, we will see. I feel good about doing this little refresh to this project. I feel my goals with project planning are now more clear. I clearly see this as a tool for me to get towards my dream collection and not just something that I do for the sake of filming content. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye.